So in an earlier video, we looked at some of the applications of first law of thermodynamics. We looked at various processes like an isolated system, an isochoric process, isothermal process, and adiabatic process. In this video, we will look at the isobaric process. I'm going to talk about isobaric process and see how the first law of thermodynamics gets applied to an isobaric process. You know that isobaric process is a process wherein the pressure remains constant. So delta P is equal to 0. Let us look at a few examples of isobaric process. Some of the examples are one is heating of water to steam. When I heat water to steam, it's at constant pressure. Of course, we ignore all the losses of heat that happen, but the process is happening at constant pressure, constant atmospheric pressure. Even when you heat water in a steam in a boiler, same thing happens. It's happening at constant pressure. Similarly, freezing of water is also a process which happens at constant pressure. Freezing of water to ice, again happening at constant pressure. And we will have similar such examples. For example, formation of steam and superheating of steam. Superheating is something which you will learn when you get into when you are studying engineering. Right now, what we'll do is we'll look at these two examples of isobaric process and see how the first law of thermodynamics gets applied to these. So let us begin with the first one, heating of water to steam. So I will take, let us say we have a container in which we have water, and let us say m gram of water, and let us say L is the latent heat of vaporization for water. Now we're converting into steam, that means we're giving it heat Q, for example, and this Q will be equal to mL, because that's the amount of heat required to convert it into steam. So heat given is mL. Now when giving it heat, this is getting converted into steam, so the water is doing work against atmospheric pressure. There's atmospheric pressure acting on this, and the water which is getting converted to steam has to do work against this pressure, because this pressure is trying to sort of push it into the water form or make it remain in the water form. The water does work against this because of the steam and because of the Q that it is getting, because of the energy that it is getting because of this heat, and is getting converted into steam. So the work done would be P delta V, which would be P into volume of steam minus volume of water, or simply put P into delta V. Now if I use first law of thermodynamic equation, I'll get delta U is equal to Q minus W. Therefore I can write delta U is equal to Q is mL minus P into delta V. And therefore mL is equal to delta U plus P delta V. Now if I try to analyze this equation or try to interpret this equation, what it means is the heat that is given, Q, is being partially used for increasing the internal energy and partially for doing work against the atmospheric pressure or whatever pressure is acting. In case of a boiler, it might be some other pressure. So the latent heat, the total latent heat which is being given is used up in these two ways, increase internal energy and work done. And this is known as the internal latent heat, or this latent heat, and this is the external latent heat. So this is how, in case of one of the examples of isobaric pressure, the first law of thermodynamics gets applied. Let us take the second example of freezing of water. So the second example is freezing of water. Freezing of water, getting converted into ice. So again, we'll take the same example. We have a container in which we have water, m gram of water, say for example, and let us say the latent heat of freezing is L. So now in this case, what is happening is this water is getting converted into ice at 0 degrees Celsius. So it has to give out heat Q. So it is losing heat Q. So Q would be equal to minus mL, where mL is the latent heat of vaporization per, of course, unit mass. So minus mL, because in this case, the system is losing heat. When water gets converted into ice, it expands. So work done is equal to P delta V again. This water is doing work against external pressure to get converted into ice because the volume of ice is more than volume of water. So W is equal to P delta, same as over here. And if I again use this equation, delta U is equal to Q minus W, then I'll get delta U is equal to Q is minus mL minus P delta V. And here a very interesting thing can be interpreted, that delta U is equal to minus ml minus P delta. That means delta U is negative, and therefore we can say that internal energy decreases because it is negative in this case. The other thing is that this decrease in internal energy is more than the loss of heat Q. Internal energy is minus ml, which is Q, and over and above that P delta V. So delta U is, or the decrease in internal energy is more than the amount of heat which is lost by the water when it is getting converted from water to ice. So that's another interesting observation that we can, or another interesting interpretation of this particular equation, that the loss in internal energy is more than the loss of heat by water when it is getting converted from water to ice. So this is how we apply the first law of thermodynamics to various processes. In this video we looked at isobaric processes. I'm sure now you have got a good hang of how first law of thermodynamics can be used while we solve numericals or solve any other question. Thank you.